Extreme feminism does women a grave disservice, okay?
Can we talk about how feminists are the biggest hypocrites on this planet?
Feminism killed femininity.
I think feminism is going backwards. No, I don't think the song WAP is female empowerment. I don't think...
It's pretty clear by now that feminism was never about women, but to destroy their femininity.
If you hear a woman say, like, she doesn't need anyone, there's something in her that's really scared.
Feminists do not have to include men in their movement.
Misandry is not a real thing. It does not exist.
Feminism is moving so backwards, we can't even define what a woman is.
In reality, this so-called positive movement has done more harm than good. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it further supports us in our work. Thank you.
If she says that she used to be a feminist, you need to move on. So obviously most men don't want modern day feminists, but it's just as bad if a woman tells you that she used to be a modern day feminist. That's basically her telling you that she used to be slutty. Read between the lines, save yourselves the headaches, don't go for women who are feminists, and don't go for women who used to be feminists.
Can we talk about how feminists are the biggest hypocrites on this planet? They claim that they want women to have choice, have the freedom to choose exactly what they want to do, and they can choose whatever they want to do with their lives, they can choose what they want to do with their bodies, etc. But as soon as a woman opens her mouth and publicly states that her highest desire in life is to be a stay-at-home mom and raise healthy children, you cannot imagine the judgment across their faces. Like, as soon as a woman says that, all of a sudden, their whole demeanor changes. Some of them will just give you the weird look, right? But of course, like, some of them will go ahead and just tell you, oh no, why would you want to do that? We live in a modern world. Why would you waste your life away just staying home and raising kids? There's so much for you out there. Like, they'll just straight up look down on you. I kid you not, in the real world, I cannot tell you how many times I have seen this. How is that being for women having the choice to do whatever they want? If you ask this same judgmental feminist, okay, well, oh, is there something off? Like, oh, no, it's okay, like, you do you, boo. But I know, you can just tell what's going on in their little head. That's the thing with you feminists. The things you say don't match your actions, and that's why I have a problem with you. You're dishonest.
That's because those women aren't really for feminism. In truth, if you don't agree with them or walk the road of misery, just like many of them do, they hate you for it. That's when women say they want to be stay-at-home mothers or wives. They attack those women. They say those women are trapped, taking care of a man-child, so on and so forth. They'll mock them, call them pick-me's, say they've been brainwashed, or accuse them of betraying other women. Some even imply that choosing family life means throwing away ambition or setting women back. The irony is that the whole point of equality was supposed to give people freedom to decide what makes them fulfilled, whether that's running a business, raising children, or balancing both. Instead, a loud minority tries to make their own path the only valid one, and anything outside that box is treated as weakness or ignorance. It leaves a lot of women feeling like they have to hide what they really want, just to avoid judgment.
Every woman tries to manipulate a man and use him to her advantage. Shout out to the men who recognize this and still do it. They recognize it and they still do it because they have masculine energy. Shout out to real masculine energy. Masculine energy is what makes the world go round.
Men should pay on dates because it's hot. That's it. Full stop. I don't care about your calculation of actually, if you add up all the costs behind the scenes, women, I don't care. It might be true. I don't care. The only reason men should pay is because it's hot. We have lost the plot so badly when it comes to dating. It's become so sterile and transactional because we've lost sight of the idea that it's supposed to be a separate romantic context, which means you might have to act a little bit differently than you would with a coworker in order to inspire that romance. And I know the common male response is, is I shouldn't have to pay for her time. You do not have to do anything, just as she doesn't have to feel attracted to you. However, you're allowed to do things on a date that you don't have to do in order to create an environment that would inspire romance and attraction. So stop with this transactional language of paying for her time. That's not what this is. All this is you doing something hot on a date. That is it.
Men should pay on dates because it's hot. I disagree. Maybe a few years back this would have stood, but not today. The idea of courtship is dying because modern women do not appreciate it. They take advantage of men who go out of their way to make an effort. So for her to say men should pay on dates because it's hot is entitled and outdated. If someone expects you to invest your time, money, and energy just for showing up, that's not romance. That's a transaction. Respect has to go both ways. If you want chivalry, you should also bring kindness, gratitude, and effort to the table. In healthy dating, both people contribute, whether that's taking turns paying, planning dates, or simply valuing each other's time. Without mutual appreciation, men should pay because it's hot just becomes another way of saying, your value is in what you can provide, which is exactly the mindset people claim they want to get away from. There's nothing hot in paying for a date just to get ghosted in today's dating landscape.
I'm going to say something rather controversial. And I know a lot of my friends are not going to agree with me on this, but I think feminism is going backwards. No, I don't think the song WAP is female empowerment. I don't think posting a picture of your ass on social media is female empowerment. Supporting all women just because they're women is not female empowerment. I don't like that some of my friends are like go off queen to complete assholes just because they're women assholes instead of men assholes. It's not a cute look. The definition of feminism is equality. And we are not treating ourselves equal as women if we are objectifying ourselves before other people or men can objectify us. We are literally reverting back to what all the women before us worked so hard to get away from, which is being objectified for the way we look. But now we're leveraging that to personally gain from it is backwards.
If you hear a woman say, like, she doesn't need anyone and she wants to be completely independent in her life, there's something in her that's really scared. I would say there's an attachment issue. The thing is, in the end, feminism is absolute BS. It doesn't work. Women want to feel protected. They want to feel wanted, loved, and cherished. I mean, think about it. It's biology. Women need men. If this world is to continue, if the population is to continue, we need men. It's normal to have relationships. I can't stand feminism. I really cannot. We are not equal. Women are not the same as men. We're built differently. Actual fact, if you think about it, who's going to stay at home and look after the kids? Usually it is the women. But the thing is, there's so much pressure on women these days. And especially single parents, we have to take on the man's role as well. And the whole world is just becoming far too independent for my liking.
Well, she said it. And I do agree. One major thing that we have to realize is that even with this independence that women have, and with all these rights, many of them are still very lonely. Feminism pushes separation more than pushing relationships and families. The whole movement is about telling women they can do what men do, but better, telling them that they don't need men. Over time, that message has created a culture where partnership is seen as optional at best, or a weakness at worst. Some women grow up hearing that investing in love, marriage, or motherhood means giving up their power, so they put all their focus on careers or personal validation, only to find later that success alone doesn't fill the gap of companionship and belonging. Instead of encouraging balance, certain voices frame everything as a competition between the sexes, which makes people guarded instead of open to building with someone.
Feminism is so incredibly dangerous. I don't even think the modern women that subscribe to that agenda truly know what they're following, because there's no way that if you actually knew how anti-women feminism is, that you'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's me right there. I'm on board with that. There's just no way. It's anti-woman, it's anti-family, it's anti-God, it's anti-scripture. Feminism has erased femininity. It's brainwashed so many women into believing the purpose is not biblical womanhood. So now when the Bible calls a woman with a gentle and quiet spirit precious, feminism calls her oppressed. It celebrates loud, independent, and ambitious, but it mocks the women who submit to their husband, stay home to raise their kids, and take care of their families. In Proverbs 31, we see the praise of a wife of noble character. It says she watches over the activities of her household and is never idle. Her children rise up and call her blessed. The Lord created us to be our husband's helpers, not to be their competitors or their critics or their leaders. We really need to ask ourselves, what type of woman is feminism actually fighting for? And I will tell you, it's the woman who acts like the man.
I think it's so funny that men are offended by misandry.
Excuse me, why is it funny to be upset that someone hates you for a characteristic that you have absolutely no control over? I think I'm going to need a bit more of an explanation.
Because men have literally never liked women.
Uh-huh, sure they haven't.
I don't know, women wanted to get jobs, all the men were like, no. Women wanted to go to school, and men were like, no. And then we wanted to vote, and they were like, no.
Wait. Didn't men have a say in the vote on that? Because I'm fairly certain that quite a lot of men actually did vote so that women could have the rights that they have today. But a lot of individuals like this like to leave that out of the conversation.
You can't be offended by us not liking you. You hate us.
The fact that some individuals genuinely have to convince themselves of that is really sad. Because if they actually had to admit the truth to themselves, they would realize that it's only a small portion of men that dislike women. But for some, it has to be all. Otherwise, their own bigotry would just be too much for them to handle.
If we look in the world, misandry is more expressed and out there more than misogyny. This woman says that men have never liked women, but that's a false statement. If we look on TikTok and even big mainstream platforms, you see more misandry than misogyny. Scroll through comment sections or trending sounds, and you'll find countless posts joking about men being useless, trash, or only good for money, and it often gets applauded or treated as harmless humor, while similar remarks about women would spark outrage. In some circles, tearing down men has become a way to score points or signal empowerment, but all it really does is fuel resentment on both sides. Women like this do not and cannot see the bigger picture. If men really hated women, they wouldn't have stood up for women to have the same rights as them. All throughout history, there were men who fought alongside women for voting rights, education, fair pay, and protection under the law.
How did marriage go from once depicted as a fairy tale to a literal nightmare? Have you noticed how marriage in movies has gone from happy ever after to literally the worst thing a human being could endure? A slow march to eventual heartbreak and divorce? Almost every girl from a very young age dreams of getting married, finding Prince Charming, having a beautiful wedding, and a cute baby, and then living happily ever after. But now all of that has been changed. That has been demonized and replaced with the promotion of endless hookup culture and working as a corporate slave your entire life. Over the past few years, there has been a stark difference in the way that marriage has been presented to the American public. And along with that, marriage rates have completely fallen through the floor, and the amount of broken families are skyrocketing. This marketing campaign against marriage has quite literally sent our nation into crisis, destroying the sacred institution that was given to us by God Himself.
Well, this might shock you, because I also thought the same for a very, very long time, that the people who created feminism actually were nice people who wanted the best for everyone and just wanted equality. Okay, here's what really happened. So, Kate Millett, she was an American feminist, author, and artist. She is the founder of the National Organization for Women. Her sister, Mallory, was invited to one of the first meetings that established the National Organization for Women. So this is a feminist group that has been around since the start of the feminist movement, and they basically pioneered the whole movement. At this meeting, they gathered around a large table with Kate Millett, the chairperson, and she opened the meeting with the following back and forth recitation. So this is how the beginning of the meeting went. Why are we here today, she asked. To make revolution, they answered. What kind of revolution? The cultural revolution. How do we make cultural revolution? By destroying the American family. How do we destroy the family? By destroying the American patriarch. And how do we destroy the American patriarch? By taking away his power. And how do we do that? By destroying monogamy. And how do we destroy monogamy? By promoting promiscuity, eroticism, prostitution, and homosexuality.
Come on.
So this proceeded with a long discussion on how to advance these goals by establishing the National Organization of Women. Leader's sister says, it was clear they desired nothing less than the utter deconstruction of Western society.
First wave feminism sought to give women men's rights without men's responsibilities. Second wave feminism sought to reduce or eliminate women's responsibilities. And third wave feminism seeks to increase men's responsibilities. And that's really the way I see it. When all the mixed messages are tallied up, we find that men can't win for losing. They still bear the majority of the burdens they did 100 years ago. To one degree or another, they are still expected to pay on the first date and onward, even months or years into the relationship. Still expected to be the higher earner in the relationship, still expected to pay most or all of the household bills, still expected to be at least as educated as their female partner, if not more, still expected to be the one to buy the ring and to buy the flowers and then to buy the chocolates on Valentine's Day, still expected to put themselves between a woman and any danger, still expected to take responsibility for themselves and others, especially women and children. The primary difference is they aren't allowed to expect any thanks, gratitude, respect, status, or reward for it. In fact, these expectations in the current zeitgeist aren't a continuation of the traditional masculine roles of yesteryear. They only exist so men can atone for their collective historical wrongdoings. That's why. That's how they've...
The reality is, feminism will continue to harm Western society and push families to the side. It has gone far beyond the original fight for equal rights and has now turned into an ideology that glorifies independence to the point of isolation. This mindset doesn't just affect women, it affects men and children too. Men are becoming less motivated to pursue relationships when they know they'll be undervalued or taken advantage of, and children are growing up in broken homes where the idea of love and partnership is almost foreign. Societies thrive when strong families exist, but when that's pushed aside in favor of temporary pleasures and self-centered goals, what you see is rising loneliness, declining birth rates, and people struggling to find meaning. Even when women are equal to men today, men are still expected to provide and protect them. The thing is that women don't accept the fact that men are different from them, but they still expect men to handle all the responsibilities of strength, security, and emotional labor in a relationship. They demand independence, success, and ambition from themselves, which is fine. But when it comes to men, the expectation is almost one-sided.